Well, you're welcome. Everyone is still talking about the past election. Yes, it's past now because the winner has been announced, you know. And in a country like Nigeria, like I always try to make us understand, it is very, very, very difficult to turn things around since a winner has already been announced. This is the situation in Nigeria. It is going to be very, very, very difficult or almost impossible to do anything or to turn things around. The only thing that we need to be doing now is to prepare for the future, for another election. Because this time, really, the truth is that the way things are done in Nigeria does does not give the opportunity or will not give us the chance to change things once it has been announced. Even if you go to the court, the story will remain the same because even in the court, they are also the ones in charge because we have a system of government where the president decides everything because the president is the one that will appoint the Inec chairman. The president is the one that will appoint the inspector general of police. The president is the one that will appoint the chief justice of the federation and so on and so forth. So with all this in mind, it becomes very, very difficult because if you go down to the state level, the same thing applies because the governor is the one that will also appoint the chief justice of the state, the commissioner of police, and so on and so forth. So if the case is like this, everyone that they put there are expected to work for them or to favor them in the case of any events, just like these elections. Inec has already announced the results. The Inec chairman has become popular, even with all the criticisms. He will only become more popular. Just as you said, though some people are threatening him and all that on social media, but we do not hope for violence. But in the end, you may not even be able to get to where he is. So this is the truth about Nigeria. So is it right for us to continue the same system of government or for us to change the way things are done in Nigeria? Because take for instance in some countries, take Italy for example, for the police chief to be selected, the police chief is nominated as a kind of brought out by the interior minister, that's the minister of internal affairs, who passes the matter to the cabinet, which is the cabinet of ministers. The cabinet of ministers will now review, evaluate, see if that person in question is okay. They put it to vote. If the person passes, then it will now be submitted to the president of the republic. Before the president of the republic being satisfied, we now say, okay, this is the police chief. It's not as if you will just go and this person is expected to have a certain qualification at the level of police force and security. Then you won't expect that same person now to be loyal to just one person because he was cited by the Minister of Internal Affairs that later sought the opinion of the other ministers, the cabinet of ministers, then was approved by the cabinet of ministers, who later passed it again to the president of the republic, who will later see and say, okay, this person is good. Okay, we have gone through all his profile and everything. Let him be the chief of the police. Then it will be announced. The same way the chief justice is also selected. The chief justice is selected among the judges themselves. The judges will come together to select who will be the chief judge. Between themselves, how they do it, they put it into votes, however they do it, but they select this chief judge within themselves. So whoever wins becomes the chief justice of the republic. And not the way it is done in Nigeria. Someone like this that was selected amongst fellow judges, it means that if you are able to become the picked one, you are one of the best. So they are putting you there because they know that you are good. You were not appointed by the prime minister or the president of the republic. This is the same thing that we are supposed to be doing in Nigeria. The president don't just get up and appoint anybody that he feels will be good for him. Just like we know before now, even the Chief Justice of the Federation was swapped in, I think, in June 2022. Currently, the Chief Justice of the Federation is also a Yoruba man, and you are going to bring this case to court and you expect him to. We are not talking about tribalism or anything. But if this was done already in 2002, they may have had intentions that which we are just knowing today. So this is the problem. Even the Inec chairman, there has to be a way of selecting the Inec chairman. Until all these things are put right, we can never expect justice in Nigeria. Coupled with the impunity that looms in Nigeria, with the way these people are being appointed, we can never expect justice or for things to be done right. This is the truth. No matter how you flog a dead horse, you are just wasting your time. So it is good that we are trying, it is good that we are insisting. But during the elections, even if you get all the votes, they can still decide to pick the person that they want because the man there as the Inec chairman is favoring his godfather that put him there. And most times, you cannot bite the finger that is feeding you. So that is the problem of Nigeria. If it is by all means that a federal system of governance must be like this, then we can try another system of governance. Maybe confederation and so on and so forth. Because certainly this one will not bring the changes that we want in Nigeria. In a country like Nigeria, selecting the Inec chairman is supposed to pass through the ministries, the House of Assembly, before it will get to the president even. So it's not supposed to be the president to choose who will become the Inec chairman. Someone else will choose. The ministry that is responsible for things like that will choose, pass it to other ministers, they will confirm. Then in a country like Nigeria, they need to pass it again to the National House of Assembly for approval before it will be passed to the president himself. This is the only way that we can expect changes in Nigeria. If we cannot do this, every other thing that we are doing today may just be a waste of time. Sorry to say, but this is the truth. If we cannot do this, all our struggles, all our efforts may be a waste of time. My fellow Nigerians, this na the truth, and na the truth we know they like. There is nothing that you can do. Even right now, we are seeing that Peter Obi, Labour Party and PDP are saying they robbed their mandate. Okay, fine. Peter Obi and Atiku say they robbed their mandate. Who then robbed the mandate inside the two of them? Okay, even if the two of them decides to go to court, who are they going to say actually won? You they say they rob you. In they say they rob them. Who they can rob for this matter now? And the same court that we are going to, my brothers, the court where will they go? They don't even ready with us. The same way Inec ready. Say they will announce result first before you do anything. Now, the same court is going to tell you we are going to pass our judgment based on the evidence we have. So at the same time, they can also tell you that this evidence that you brought is not sufficient. And they'll strike the case. So where will you not take the case to? The highest place will be the Supreme Court. And once the Supreme Court strikes it, you cannot take such a case to any other place in the world for them to decide what will happen in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a sovereign nation. So this is the simple truth, and we need to face it. So the best thing and the best way to begin is to start to change the laws and the way things are done in Nigeria. Is to start to change the laws. If not, will we remain where we are? Because take for instance, even in the last election, let us assume that 80% of the voters in Nigeria voted Peter Obi. 80% of the accredited voters voted Peter Obi. They are still going to tell you that Peter Obi didn't win, and they are still going to force a candidate on you because that is their candidate. This is the point. Beavers was not functioning. Website was down. But the info that we get is that they switched off their servers. Even the beavers were put on flight mode. So if an electronic device like a mobile transmitter, once it is on flight mode, it does not have network. So automatically it cannot transmit. Then at the same time, the servers were shut down during that period. So automatically there is nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. Even if you want to hack into the system, you cannot hack into the system because the servers are down. The only thing they can do is to do whatever they want to do manually, because they are the one with the logins. The only way you can change anything is for you to be able to hack in and change the logins so that they will no longer have access to that website. And once they do no longer have access to that website, they are going to declare that the website has been hacked and the website is no longer credible. So back to where we are. So the truth of the matter is this. Let us find a way to change the way things are done in Nigeria. Now, take for instance, like you are saying this election was rigged and that there should be another election. What if the same thing happens all over again? Then you are going to say the same thing again. Then people will start looking at you and say, maybe you are the one that have problem. So the best thing to do, just as, take for instance, like the Labour Party now started with 1 or 2 House of Rep members, maybe senators, thereabouts. These people can then go into the National House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly, and begin to seek the changes that they want and begin to suggest the changes that they want, propose new laws, try to change the existing laws. Before you know, they can also gather other legislators that can be with them. Let us change this law. No, the INEC chairman should not be appointed in this manner. The Inspector General of Police should not be appointed in this manner. The Chief Justice of the Federation should not be appointed in this manner. Let us change the way these people are appointed so that we can have a real democracy and justice in the process. Until we do this, there is nothing that we can do. Because the president, at the snap of his finger, has the Inspector General of Police. Another snap, he has the Chief Justice of the Federation. Another stamp, the INEC chairman. The INEC chairman could do what he was told to do because before he was appointed, he has already agreed to be obedient. Just like as we say, obedient. Yeah. He has already agreed to be obedient. The same way the Inspector General of Police has also agreed to be obedient. The same way the Chief Justice of the Federation has also agreed to be obedient because they were not placed there based on merit. They were placed there based on trust that they will not betray the people that put them there. So what do you expect? The only thing that we can expect is what they want. So this is the point. The only way we can change things in Nigeria is to begin to change the laws and how things are done. We even saw the last time during, yes, the problem is still there. The issue of the new Naira and the old Naira and so on and so forth. Now, we didn't even hear from the Ministry of Finance or from the Minister of Finance that is supposed to be responsible for such a decision, because even the central bank is supposed to liaise with the Ministry of Finance because the central bank is an organ under the Ministry of Finance. But throughout this time, we didn't even hear anything from the Minister of Finance because even the central bank governor was put there by the president or the people that put him there to favor them. So he will do anything that they want them to do. So automatically, the Ministry of Finance was cut off. I'm sure Nigeria still has a Minister of Finance till tomorrow. But we didn't hear from him. It is absurd that the Ministry of Finance had no say in an important decision that affects the finance and the economy of the nation. This is just the problem that we have in Nigeria. And until we are ready to face it, things will not change. If we want change, this is where we must start from. Like I always say, from the ward, from the local government, up to the state level, up to the national level. You cannot change it from the top to the bottom. But you can change it from the bottom to the top. Because you need to watch out for the councillors, the chairmen, the governors, commissioners, ministers, House of Rep, senators, in the Senate, both the upper and the lower chambers. Then before you start thinking of the presidency, because anything that the president is doing depends on the decision under normal circumstances. If they are not all is ping pong, as they say. If all of them not just be ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, the president cannot just wake up. We are not in a monarch system. We are not in a country where there is no democracy. The president cannot just wake up and decide things. We even saw the other day, lawmakers were locked outside. They were prevented from entering into the National Assembly that is supposed to be their chambers. And the only excuse that the DSS, the enforcement that we are outside, gave was it is an order from above. That is Nigeria for you. But if the Inspector General of Police is not that loyal to the president at a time, at the level of security, they will also say, no, hold on, let us hear from the chief judge. They can hear from the chief judge and the chief judge will say, no, I don't approve. You can't go there and seal. Then everybody will calm down. But because everything and everyone is put there by the president in Nigeria, the same way a state governor can say, this is my state, I will decide what will happen, then we cannot change anything. This is the simple truth, whether we like it or not. If you know you have a better idea, you can also share it. If you know you can think of other ways that things can be done in Nigeria, you can also suggest it. You can propose it. Because this way that we are going, certainly will not lead us anywhere until the changes are made. Things cannot be done the way we want. So those that are supporting APC, those that are supporting PDP, those that are supporting Labour Party, those that are supporting NNPP, we should all know this. If your party was toppled one way or the other, just know that the result has been announced and it is final. I don't believe when people say God will do his own. No, there is no God in politics because the people put there, the people that are there are ordained by God. Because if God does not bless you, you can't even rise to become a state governor, let alone contesting to be a president. For you to arrive at this level means that God is with you. We are all God's children. God has done his own for us. So if you then have the blessings of God and the glory of God upon your life and you become the president of your country, it is up to you if you will do the will of God. But do not think that God is going to leave one person and favor the other person. No, our God is not like that. This is a different case entirely. That is why you find in some countries of the world, only one person will keep on killing citizens and doing all that, and they are still going to sleep and wake up the next day, go about their business, kill, go back to bed. Thank God, these are not the situation in Nigeria now. So do not think that God will wake up and change things for us. God can only give us the ideas, the strength to forge ahead so that we can change things on our own. And the only way to change things in Nigeria is to change the law. Once the laws are still the same, then we cannot do otherwise. Quote me anywhere. You will also find out that even in the next election, if the law is still the same thing will repeat itself. And so on, and so on, and so on. Because they are always going to decide who will be. Some people would like to liken it to the Goodluck Jonathan regime. Goodluck, we know, according to him, said he was a peacemaker. He didn't want to. We can also understand then that Goodluck was just, nobody actually knew what happened, but it's like someone that has made promises before he was allowed to be there. So when the time came for him to switch over, he didn't have much to say. So even the Inec chairman then wasn't even listening to Goodluck Jonathan. I don't know if we remember correctly the election of the 2015. So, because it's still the same ball game. Someone brought him until he became the vice president of Yaradua of blessed memory before he passed on. Then he was later made the president. Then when the time came for him to hand over, he had to hand over. That is just the simple truth. But at this point, it is different because APC will make sure that they are there for 16 years before they will start making agreements. One was even expecting that Buhari being not being good terms with Tinubu recently, but maybe they were able to juggle him and able to bring him back to his senses and everything. Maybe he would have decided to do something else, and even if he did, if he had to, it would have been Atiku or the same. But then finally he gave it to Tinubu, and Tinubu being alive and healthy is going to be there for another 8 years to complete the 16 years of the APC. Maybe before we start thinking of another turnaround. So this is the thing that we need to know, because in Nigeria we hate to face the reality, but this is the reality. And until we can change these things, nothing will come in our favor. Nothing. Because we saw the parade of police, vehicles, equipments, and all that, the exaggeration of the beavers, the new electoral laws. Even then, I was telling people, this thing is not going to work as far as Nigeria is concerned. It happened the way I told them it will happen. Forget about beavers. Before you start talking about beavers, they have already thought of what to do. They already know what to do. All they need to do is to see the outcome of the election. They already have plan A, plan B, plan C. So whichever one comes, they will choose the next thing to do. Yeah. So whether we like it or not, we have a Muslim candidate that became the president and the vice president. So nobody knows the next move. Shettima could be the target, but we don't know yet. So let us keep our fingers crossed and watch things unfold while we go back to the drawing board and add more strategies to the next move for a better Nigeria. So this is my point. And since nobody is online right now, some people could be busy and all that. So I will leave you and we'll talk about something else also when necessary. But I just want us to stop flogging a dead horse and move on. This is the simple truth. There is no court in Nigeria that is going to cancel the electoral results in Nigeria. Believe me. And even if any court does, they are going to ignore that court as well. Because to enforce the judgment of the court will take the police. And if the police does not move, and the military does not move in favor of the court judgment, then the situation remains where it is. So this is the point, my brothers and sisters. So we'll be again online to discuss issues affecting our great nation, Nigeria. We should all sharpen our minds in the view of providing and suggesting solutions to the problems without bias and without tribalism. Because we have seen that Nigerian is one. We have seen Fulanis, Hausas, Yorubas, Benis, Ibibos, Ijaws, all rejoicing that an Igbo man was coming. So at this point, we have no right to clamor for tribalistic issues. We have no right to be calling for Biafra. We have no right to be calling for the division of Nigeria. All we need to do is to come together and find a lasting solution to the problem of Nigeria. If it is confederation where Nigeria will be divided, subdivided into regions, where each region will have their own president answerable to the main president, but they also have rights to their resources and some other things that they can have autonomy over. You know, just like, take for instance, a country like Italy is divided into regions. Each region has their president. This one has his own president. This one has his own president. So at the end of the day, this president is also elected, but this same president is still under the president of the the Republic of Italy. But each one of them can clamor or can ask for their own things, but they are still one nation. So these are the things that we can go for in Nigeria. It is not division of Nigeria, because the bigger we are, the better. The more united we are, the better. So we have seen that religion, tribe does not divide Nigeria. So it is an opportunity for us to tap into this revelation and begin to change things in Nigeria together as brothers and sisters, and stop bothering about the differences in tribe and all that. So once again, God bless you, and we'll see you again later to talk more. Bye for now.